So sometimes I'll ask somebody, how can I help you? What can I do to help grow your business? Because oftentimes we'll meet someone who has a business, but we don't really understand what would be a client for them.
Sure.
So for instance, if I meet a hairdresser, well, I pretty much know.
Right.
They're looking for people to do their hair.
Mm-hmm.
But in your type of profession, I wouldn't know for sure. What's a good client for you? What's a good contact for you? So I feel like that's really helpful. I know when I go to networking events, because I do know a lot of people and I love to connect people up. So that feels like a good question. Is
That's
that something?
a great question.
Yeah. How can I be of help to you?
That's a perfect question. What I always do as I'm ending the conversation, if I feel that it's someone that I can either connect with later or even help by getting some power partners connected to them or send them some referrals.
What's a power partner?
A power partner is someone not necessarily in their industry. They wouldn't even conflict with what they do, but they may have the same or similar client as they do. So for me, just as an example, it might be a financial advisor or a mortgage broker or someone in the insurance world.
Right.
Those types of things. And it would be different, obviously, for every industry.
Right.
But what I do is ask them permission to call them and set up a coffee appointment. And that way, we can just sit down one-on-one for 45 minutes to an hour, talk about them, talk about me, talk about their business, talk about my business, and really just build some rapport and get to know each other on a personal level.
Right, to see if there's a resonance there. Because you're going to do business with people you feel comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Of course.
And if you don't know someone, like them, and trust them, you're never going to refer someone to them. So
pretty much. That usually turns out disastrous.
Yeah. So I know I wouldn't refer someone to an individual that I didn't know their integrity and how they work and how they treat their clients and customer service and those kinds of things.
And that can be a little problem when you're in like a little bit more of like a leads group, which would be like a networking group where you meet every week and your commitment is really to kind of send business to the people in the group. And over the years I've had some positive experiences with that and some negative experiences as well. So that's a good place to learn how to do networking, but sometimes it can be limiting if you feel like you really are needing to support the people in the group if you don't know them. Now, another thing that's helpful, like if I meet someone at a networking group, sometimes I can't meet them one-on-one, but I can set up a phone conversation. Sometimes even just 5 or 10 minutes on the phone, I can kind of feel like if there is a connection there or not, or if I would feel comfortable sending the business. And of course, you can also go to people's websites.
Right.
It does help you kind of visit their store in a way, because the website is the storefront. So in that way, it's important to keep our websites up to at least what we feel is representing us. So let's get back to this relationship thing. This is really, really, it is so important, and we always hear it, but I don't think it's really emphasized enough in terms of how important it is also to have the experience of the other person's work. So in other words, if I'm going to recommend an acupuncturist, I'm going to have acupuncture treatments with that person before I recommend them. So same with your work. I am very interested, and I would like to sit down with you and see, really what is it exactly that I would be purchasing, and what would that look like, and then I could send out information about that. Yeah, and I've always found you to be friendly and easy to talk with, and I've been at lots of networking groups with you and heard you speak a few times, and it always kind of intrigued me because I really didn't understand fully what you did. So until we've had this conversation, it really has helped me.
Great.
Yeah, it has really helped me. So when you go out on your speaking ventures, do you charge for that, or will you do free as well? What does that look like?
Up until this point in time, I've always just done free, just to give back to the community. I've spoken a lot at Rotary. I'm on their preferred speakers list. I have 2 Kiwanis clubs lined up for the coming month. But also places like small local credit unions. I've spoken to their clients and those kinds of things. But interestingly enough, I'm actually going to be doing 2 classes for lifelong learning in May.
Oh, tell us about lifelong learning.
Those will be charged. Boulder Valley School District puts on a program called Lifelong Learning, and they have classes on various subjects and industries, and they've asked me to do 2 classes for them in May on
I think
identity
that's great.
theft. So
That's great. Is it
that'll
going to be just an
coming up.
evening or a couple
There will
of?
be one evening and one Saturday morning, so there'll be some options.
Right.
And that'll be coming out in their spring catalog.
And it feels to me that the schools getting into, certainly on the college level, when even high school now, when kids are getting credit cards, and I think kids are probably, you know, very unaware of the different kind of criminal activities that can be out there. So are you looking into any of that at all?
I haven't done anything with schools yet, except for I do go in and train teachers.
Yeah.
What most business people don't realize is that businesses are 100% liable if the identity of their client or their employee is breached anyway through the organization. So I offer a no-cost program that sets up a proactive system for the business so that if and when something does happen, they can show that they were being proactive instead of reactive, which helps limit their liability and mitigate damages.
Right.
And a piece of that is a 1-hour training class for their staff, just educating them on how to safeguard information and really what's going on out there.
I just feel like what you have to say, it's like everyone really needs to hear this.
They sure
It
do.
is really important information. One other thing I want to talk to you about, and that is you seem to be very passionate about your work, and that is a real tenet of the Priestess Entrepreneur, because if you can't get behind your business, you probably shouldn't be doing it. And so it seems to me over the years that I've known you, you've gotten more and more passionate about your work. It's actually grown. Is that true?
Absolutely.
As you reach more people and
you bet.
And
the more people that I can help, the better I feel, and the better that I've made a difference.
Yes.
And everyone needs what I have, and a lot of people just don't know it exists.
Right.
And the more I can educate and explain things, then the more people I can help. So.
Beautiful. You're a beautiful Priestess Entrepreneur.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us here today. We've had Peggy Goehringer, Priestess Entrepreneur in her own right, and I want to say this correctly, Certified Identity Theft Risk Management Specialist.
You got it.
And it is a mouthful because it is a mouthful, and it's something that all of us really need to get real about and know what our rights are and what we can do to just safeguard our identity. Wow, that's a big concept.
Yes.
So first you spend all this time figuring out who you are, and then you got to protect it. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And if you want to know more about the Priestess Entrepreneur, you can check out my book, Priestess Entrepreneur Success is an Inside Job. You can find it on my website, practicalpriestess.com. And in order to get in touch with Peggy, is there a website you would like us to go to, or just contact you by email?
I think phone would be the best. It's 720-280-1068.
So thank you so much for joining us today on Priestess Entrepreneur Kitchen Conversations. This is Cindy Morris, your host for Boulder Valley Media Alliance, Channel 22. Thank you.